This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kaylee Chella. Well, it was a chilly holiday outside, and the cold temperatures may be sticking around for a little bit. Let's first throw things over to our meteorologist, Nathan Hopper, to get a first look at your weather. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Kaylee. It was indeed a cold one this morning. Most of us woke up around 0 with 9 below that morning temperature in Langdon, 1 below in Grand Forks, 6 below in Halleck, and 2 degrees above 0 in Fargo. We have seen a rebound in those temperatures, of course. We're seeing 20s right now in Devils Lake and Jamestown. Langdon also in the lower 20s. 20 right now in Fargo and Grand Forks. We're at 18 degrees. A south wind is with us this evening, and that's going to help to rise, or increase, I should say, our temperatures here this evening. Notice south winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour, a pretty good rule of order. A recent gust there of 25 miles per hour in Fargo was recently reported, so wind chill still a factor for us with a 0-degree wind chill in Badette and lots of single-digit wind chills across the region with the least cold wind chills there in areas like Jamestown, Oaks, Sisseton, and double-digit wind chills. So here's what we're seeing. Satellite and radar showing some blue making its way through from northwest to southeast. But I've been watching surface observations, been watching some cameras across the region, have not seen much in the way of actual snowfall falling from these clouds, even though radar at that radar beam level is picking up some snowfall. So I think it's just too dry, close to the surface of the earth for that snowfall to actually make it all the way to the ground. But you can see in Fargo, I expect temperatures to rise through the night thanks to that south wind around 15 miles per hour. And same can be said for our friends in Grand Forks, cloudy skies, but increasing temperatures. And of course, Kaylee, a lot of folks on the road tomorrow and Saturday. We'll talk about some potential wintry impacts for those 2 days coming up here in a few minutes.
From 0 to 20, real quick. Thanks,
right.
Nathan. Officials are investigating another threat of a school shooting that was called into our Whistle hot blower line. Valley News Live got a message last night from someone saying that they're going to shoot up the school on Monday, but they didn't say which one. The police said they've had a juvenile calling in threats like this recently and are working to see if it's linked. They also said that they'll notify school administrations when a credible threat is reported. This is the second time our hotline has gotten a call like this recently. The first one was reported earlier this month when a caller said that they were going to shoot up DL High School. The police identified the juvenile who made that threat. 3 teens were taken to the hospital after the driver lost control of their car. The crash happened after 4 this morning on Highway 57 south of Devils Lake. The vehicle drove into a ditch and flipped upside down, stopping to rest in a few inches of water. The 16-year-old driver suffered serious injuries and is facing DUI charges. 18-year-old Kellen McKay was also treated for serious injuries, and one 13-year-old passenger suffered minor injuries. The crash report says no one was wearing their seatbelts. The North Dakota Board of Medicine brought 11 formal disciplinary actions against doctors this year. It includes 3 sanctions that resulted in physicians losing their license. Alcohol-related incidents typically make up the bulk of the board's sanctions. Doctors also were disciplined for things like incompetence, unethical behavior, substandard care, and criminal offenses. The group reviews up to 120 cases against doctors every year. Gooseberry Falls is a popular Minnesota state park, but it's also pretty dangerous. Just a quick Google search brings up article after article of hikers falling to their death. Bo Lofgren is one of those people who fell over the water's edge while trying to save a child, and today he lives to tell the tale. 6 months ago, while on a school field trip, Holly Elementary teacher Bo Lofgren's life changed forever.
The next thing I knew is we both made a 30-foot fall down the set of waterfalls.
He broke 4 vertebrae and his tailbone, and his son was there to see it.
Yeah, it was a scary time, so.
He spent 4 days in the hospital, months in a brace, and even longer relearning how to walk. He still isn't 100%. The physical part of recovery was hard, but Lofgren says being back at school has helped him recover mentally.
It was like instant adrenaline. Knowing, okay, these are the kids I get to work with, and that really helped me here to get better here so I could be here today.
Lofgren teaches his 6th graders all kinds of serious life lessons.
Aurora, what happened with her? Raise your hand and tell me, what happened with her? Yeah, her little brother, he was 4 months old, passed away.
Including his accident.
Okay, this was my brace, obviously my brace that I had. Okay, You know, and it's so funny because this was such a part of my life for, 3 months.
He says talking to his students is not only helping him recover,
The kids they're outstanding medicine.
but it's also helping his students be vulnerable about their struggles, too. The accident has given him a new outlook on life.
Am I still the old Mr. Lafgren, or do you think I'm a new and improved Mr. Lafgren? New and improved. Think so?
This Thanksgiving, he says he's more grateful than ever.
I'm just thankful to experience all that life has to offer every day living in Hawley. I can't say that enough.
But most of all, Lofgren says he's just glad he's still here for his family.
Thankful for the opportunities I have to teach, to coach, to be a husband, to be a father. I love you.
And they're grateful he's still here too.
My love when he drives us to school in the morning, just spending that time before school, coming to his room after school, just seeing him really makes me happy.
For Valley News Live, I'm Kaylee Chella reporting. Lofgren wanted to make sure that I told you just how thankful he is for his church, the medical staff at his hospital, and everyone who played a part in his recovery. Well, the day after the 3 white men were found guilty of murdering her son, Ahmaud Arbery's mom reflects on what life is like without him.
And this is the second Thanksgiving that my family and I will share without Ahmaud. But this is the first Thanksgiving that we can look at that empty chair and say, we finally got justice for you, Ahmaud. So, I mean, it's like a bittersweet moment.
A Wadena, Minnesota woman is sharing her sobriety story tonight in the hopes of inspiring others to make the difficult but life-changing decision to get clean. After her decades-long battle with both drugs and alcohol addiction, Amber Nelson celebrated Thanksgiving with her family tonight, 9 months sober.
To be here sober today and be able to have that time with my mom and dad, my kids, my husband, is really a big blessing.
Now, Nelson told us that the holidays bring extra challenges to those trying to stay sober, as alcohol is a staple for many at the table. She urges loved ones to be mindful and understanding and encouraging for those wrestling with sobriety. Across the nation, many Americans celebrated Thanksgiving today, but for the indigenous people of this land, today holds a much different meaning. David Bienick brings us to Boston.
There were drums and dancing on the hill overlooking the Plymouth Rock Monument as hundreds of people came together for what they call a national day of mourning.
Currently, we are in a time of Indigenous resurgence, with things happening on so many different fronts.
After speeches and prayers, the group marched through the streets, led by the granddaughter of the man who founded this event in 1970.
I wanted to deliver a message basically that we're still here.
Keisha James says she doesn't object to people gathering, eating turkey, and giving thanks, but she doesn't want them to celebrate what she calls the Thanksgiving myth.
That the Pilgrims and Wampanoag got along, and we simply know that that's not true, that the Pilgrims came and pretty much immediately started killing the Wampanoags.
Marchers also called for more attention to be paid to the cases of missing Indigenous women and the return of all land colonized in the Americas.
We're not saying give it back and get off. We're saying give it back so we can heal it, so that we can all come to some type of reconciliation.
Organizers say they are encouraged to see people of many different backgrounds taking part this year, and said the day of mourning is also a day to be proud that after 400 years, they and their culture still exist.
We are still here today, and I stand here in peace and in solidarity. Ho, that is all.
Well, now that Thanksgiving is a wrap, we're left wondering what to do with our leftovers. Valley News Team's Alex Larson has more on the real impact of Thanksgiving food waste and what you can do to prevent it.
Thanks, Kaylee. Thanksgiving meals cost more than ever. The American Farm Bureau says the turkey centerpiece of the holiday took the biggest jump, with the price going up about $1.50 per pound. The Bureau also reports that the price for the entire meal went up by over $6. Up now to $55. Many of you reached out to us on Facebook to tell us what you do with your leftovers. Almost all of you said your families joined the Clean Plate Club after multiple rounds of leftovers. But the USDA estimates between 30 to 40% of food every day is wasted, with the most wasteful time of the year being the holidays. So how much was wasted today? The numbers are surprising. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says around 175 million pounds of turkey, almost 30 million pounds of vegetables, and 40 million pounds of mashed potatoes get trashed. The list goes on. It's a problem. The USDA says that nationally, almost 14 million families were food insecure at some point in the last year. Along with getting creative with your Thanksgiving leftovers, there are other ways you can prevent waste. Donate shelf-stable food items you don't end up using to a local food bank. And for Christmas, serve in smaller portions. That way you can avoid throwing out the food left on your plate when you're done. You can always go back for seconds. Next holiday, shop with a plan. Know how many people are coming and what they're bringing so you can coordinate what you make. That way you can waste less and save more. In studio, Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Thanks so much, Alex. Well, according to the Consumer Price Index, the price of beef is climbing too. As we head into December and the December holidays, our D.C. Bureau reporter Kristen Casper brings us a look at some of the federal efforts to take inflation off the holiday menu.
Inflation is at a 30-year high this Thanksgiving, and it's likely to remain on the menu throughout the holiday season.
Whether it's heating your home, cooking your food, buying the turkey, everything has gone up in price.
While Republicans like Senator John Thune tend to blame the administration for excess spending, Heather Boucher with the White House says they're working to solve supply chain issues.
The president has invested in a robust agenda around competition issues.
Industry experts say these 4 large meat packers still control the meat market, and the saturation undercuts producers while inflating prices at the grocery store. Congress has looked extensively into the issue this year, holding hearings and drafting legislation, because it's not just the price of turkey that has consumers crying foul. Federal officials say they're looking to lower the cost of beef as the December holidays roll in.
It has downstream effects.
Tanner Beamer with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is throwing his support behind a bill to create a cattle contract library, which would require meat packers to report their marketing agreements to the USDA. He says it would help producers broker better rates.
Then if there are maybe things they didn't think about, they have the opportunity to go and renegotiate that with their buyers.
But he warns there's not any one silver bullet solution.
It needs to be combined with proper oversight of our markets.
And as comprehensive industry reform is unlikely to come before the new year, you might want to plan for another costly celebratory feast next month too. Reporting in Washington, I'm Kristen Casper.
Still ahead tonight, a popular brand is recalling some of its body sprays. We'll tell you exactly what products you want to trash.
Some sunshine and a south wind helping our temperatures to be about 11 degrees warmer this hour than they were yesterday. I expect even more warm air on the way for the weekend. Of your forecast next.